Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining me in my review of Disney's Hawkeye Episodes 1 and 2. This review will go into specifics and spoilers, so please watch the episodes first if you don't want to be spoiled of anything. Starting off with Episode 1, Never Meet Your Heroes. We enter the show in 2012 with Kate's parents arguing about moving, and Kate overhearing. After getting caught, her father goes and has an inspirational talk with her. I believe this cements her morals as the type of person she'll want to be, especially since he dies minutes later as the Chitauri invasion starts and reaches their part of the city. The inspiration to grow up to be a hero comes when Hawkeye indirectly saves her from some Chitauri soldiers flying. Then she gets to witness his badass rooftop scene. Who wouldn't be inspired by that? Right after, she's saved by her mother as she comes and grabs her to escape the house before it falls apart. At her father's funeral, she vows to become a protector, and her mom chooses to support anything her daughter wants. Then the gorgeous intro plays out, showing off Kate's life mastering her skill sets. I saw archery, karate, fencing, and gymnastics at the very least, but who knows, maybe we'll see more. We learn later that she got her black belt at 15, so I assume she mastered the others around them that time too. We now hop forward to present day, which is Christmas time of an unknown year. It's referenced later that Ronan has been missing for a couple years, so it could be either Christmas time 2024 or 2025, but I don't think it'll be any farther than that. We are treated to Kate's archery skills as she is bet to ring a bell in a clock tower by her friends. She is definitely a good shot, some might even say the world's greatest archer. Unfortunately for her, her luck isn't as great as her archery skills, and she ends up breaking the clock tower and is caught. Fortunately for her, though, her mother's wealthy, and so instead of jail time, she gets expelled from school and loses access to her credit cards. Next, we are treated to Rogers the Musical, and oh man, do I want to see it. It looks like so much fun. There's a brief moment that tugged on the heartstrings, though, as Clint had flashbacks about Natasha. He's now sporting a hearing aid, and there is some signing in the show. That's a nice callback to his comic book start, or at least some iterations of his comic counterpart. And it's just good inclusiveness. And then just throughout the whole episode, we're treated to nice family moments, and I enjoy every single one of them. I love his secretive little family. Afterwards, Kate arrives in New York, and she visits her mother and her mother's mysterious boyfriend, Jack, who we learn shortly after is actually her fiancé. And apparently that relationship has been moving pretty fast. So either there are money motives for him, or Kate's mom is in league with him. I'm not sure yet. Afterwards, we are introduced to Armand III, who is a mysterious old man, also the uncle of Jack, and Armand VII, who is seemingly just a boy, but who knows with that family. A little later, when Kate goes to get some fresh air from the party, a random dog shows up, and she ends up following it and finds a secret meeting between Armand III and her mother. Armand is threatening her mother, and I kind of believe that it's an indication of why her mom and Jack could be in league, because why else would her mom be getting threatened? But we'll see. Kate then follows Armand down into the wine cellar where a black market auction is taking place. I love this whole scene and set piece. It is my favorite of the episode. The items being sold are from the Avengers compound, and I want to know where these criminals got their hands on them, because, you'd think that the government or the Avengers would have them. So, and then we are treated to a lovely bit between Kate and some employees of the restaurant. It's super funny, and then I just love Kate weaving through the wine racks. I love the set piece. All of a sudden, boom, goes the whole room as an explosion blows the wall out and armed men rush in. We learn later they're called the Tracksuit Mafia, which I am going to call TSM from now on. And they are looking for a specific watch that was in the auction, also assuming from the Avengers compound. What is the importance of this watch? We'll find out. In the chaos that follows, Jack ends up getting Ronan's sword, and Kate gets Ronan's suit and dons it. Following this, we are treated to her fighting skills. The action set pieces for the show remind me of the older Netflix era shows like Netflix, Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, etc. They're definitely a lot more grounded. They make good use of the environments. I'm excited to see the fight set pieces evolve going forward in the show. And then one of the men, named Kazi, recognizes Ronan, so Clint obviously pissed these guys off at some point in the past. Kate is able to escape from the underground cellar. She chases the dog through some traffic because he got the watch. This is how Clint ends up connecting to this story with Kate, because he ends up seeing the events on the news, recognizes the Ronin outfit, and is like, I gots to go. Kate then goes to her personal apartment with the dog, names it Pizza Dog, and I'm in love with the dog. Afterwards, she goes to her mom's house to interrogate him, only to find him dead with a sword wound through his chest. All signs point to Jack, but we'll see. But it's most likely Jack. She leaves the house, but not before a maid witnesses Ronan leaving the dead body. The episode ends with her getting saved by Clint after the tracksuit mafia jumps her. Now on to episode 2, Hide and Seek. Episode 2 starts off with Clint and Kate heading back to her apartment. I love the banter between these two. It's so funny. Back at the apartment, Clint mentions that Tony sold Stark Towers years ago, and in Loki, there was a King Tower Easter egg, so maybe that's who bought it. We'll see how that all connects later on in the MCU. Shortly after, they're attacked again by the TSM, flinging some Molotovs. There's a dope shot of Clint catching one and returning it, setting some of them on fire. Ultimately, though, the apartment becomes ablaze, and they escape to Kate's aunt's apartment. When Hawkeye heads back to the apartment to try and get the suit, we see him don a firefighter outfit, adding Disguise Master into his skill set. Unfortunately, another firefighter has taken the suit to LARP in. When Hawkeye says goodbye to his family a little bit later, he promises his daughter he'll be home for Christmas, which is 5 days away. Will Hawkeye succeed? I hope so. A nice scene I enjoyed from the episode was the conversation about branding. Kate makes a great point that Hawkeye could inspire tons of people, especially him being an original Avenger. And what I think will happen is we'll potentially see him publicly give Kate the Hawkeye mantle so he can live in peace with his family, but the world will know that the name of Hawkeye lives on. It might turn out different, but I think that is a nice way to send him off. Kate ends up at her mother's security company, which she also works for, and now we know where the wealth is all from, so it makes sense. While there, Kate gets a call from a detective about her apartment. She's pretty dodgy with the questions, but agrees to go to talk to him in the morning, and the detective is clearly suspicious of her, but maybe he'll help out later, we'll see. The greatest thing about this episode for me was the LARP. It was so much fun watching Clint dress up and do this silly thing. He was honorable in his fight with Grills, who I think could show up again later, maybe. And I believe Clint truly had fun. Following this, he lets himself get caught by the TSM so he can get closer to the leader. I don't know exactly what is going to go on, but we'll see. And then Kate has a dinner with Jack and her mom, and it definitely sets up Jack as Armand's killer and a villain for Kate in general. He had a piece of candy from her mom's house, so he was definitely there. He showed it to Kate in a threatening way. He downplayed his skills while fencing, and overall he's just kind of like antagonistic towards Kate in like a smug kind of way. It's I don't know how to put a finger on that, but we'll see. I just hope they fight again with him using his full skill set, because I think it'll be awesome. And then the episode ends with Kate failing spectacularly to rescue Clint and getting caught in the process, and they're both caught by the Tracksuit Mafia. So yeah. Overall verdict of the premiere is a solid 4 out of 5 arrows hit. It did a solid job introducing Kate and her life while also catching up on Clint's a little. The banter between the characters is hilarious, and I'm excited to see their relationship grow. Questions that I have: what is Jack's deal, and is Kate Small a part of it? Where did Pizza Dog come from? What did Ronan do to the TSM? If Ronan wiped out the head of organized crime, who was it, and who is it now? Where did they get those black market items? And what year is this set? Because I just like having the timeline. Thank you again for joining me in my review of Disney's Hawkeye Episodes 1 and 2. I hope you have a positive day.